Thanks, Caroline. Runners in the yard here for the Schweppes Cup. And if you've got Miss Finland into Harada Sun, you're looking at $1.20 in the running double. And that's the price he is on the tote, Harada Sun. We'll show the totes as we look at efficient. $8.40 efficient, $7 New South Wales, $9.30 Unitab. On course, around 9 to 2 on the old. Look, the market, no point going through them. It's just totally dominated by Harada Sun. The totes, 120, 110, 110. On course, a solid $1.40 chance. Catechuchu is your overs. You saw $23 there. Well, on course, it is single figures, and it's the clear third pick. So, in betting ring order, no surprise here. 3, 1, and 4, and do your best. The rest is what they're telling us, Steve. But there's efficient. The Derby horse resuming. Big overs on the tote. Much comment that he'll need this going in towards the Guineas, but doesn't mean he can't win.
No, it certainly doesn't. He established a degree of class, of course, through the spring after being beaten somewhat controversial on debut and then stringing together 5 wins, culminating in the Derby, albeit quite a slow Derby as it turned out this year. But he has lots of ticks. They're called 5 wins.
Yep. Winners keep winning. But
can you explain to me one of life's great mysteries, Bruce?
No, probably not.
30 minutes before this race, there was $300,000 in the win pool.
I know what you're going to ask now.
And Harada Sun was $1.10. Now, how does that happen? Do people sit at home thinking, well, I'll have...
No, I think the all-up's going. It was $1.90 actually when we first crossed. So there's Wordsmith on screen, Steve. Look, he had nothing wrong with the Debonair. It was a good, tough performance. He's a little pro. He's matched it with the best at Group 1 level in the past, and he's $21.
Look, he's a terrific horse, Bruce, but he certainly found he was the right horse in the right place at the right time in the Debonair, which did fall away to some degree, let's be frank, this year, and he had a lovely run in the race for Stephen King and was good. He was good in the Caufield Guineas through the spring. He's got 58 today. Under the conditions of this race, he'll be probably beaten for speed early. Could he beat the likes of Efficient and Harada Sun? The fitness edge helps. I doubt it. Legitimate trifecta chance.
Well, there he is, Harada Sun, the multi-million-dollar colt by Fucciacci Pegasus out of Circles of Gold. Look, he's just starting to have a little crack with him. He's just a little bit more on his toe today than he's normally so relaxed here on course. Maybe just something just got his eye there.
And well, he looks reasonably relaxed now as we watch him parade around the mounting yard to $1.45 or thereabouts on track. 4 of 5, blistering win in the Wellington here last start. Ran good time, did it very comfortably. Only defeat, of course, came at the hands of Miss Finland, and he probably should have won on that occasion. I think he'll win again here this afternoon, Bruce.
Well, Catechuchu, inside gate for C. Williams, David Hayes, ran on in the Vanity. Good performance in that, and under the RVL handicapping ratings base, a better rating than Harada Sun.
Which is interesting, but that's based, of course, on some stakes performances to date. Harada Sun, of course, beaten in a Group 3, is yet to win a race at group level. Catechuchu, I think she'll lead from gate 1. They had the option of running in the fillies race here this afternoon against the stablemate. They've opted to take on the males. Her one run since returning from the West in the Vanity was good, although whether that Vanity form held up to any degree last week, the answer's probably no. The leader, so given that she's the leader, she's probably there in the mix if you're playing quinellas and trifectas.
That little test for Harada Sun at $1.45 was answered with money. Straight back in again. There's General Albert. Well, he was really good in the Debonair behind Wordsmith and goes around massive odds.
Well, he does. $120 odd on the tote. He has a 2.5 kilo advantage on Wordsmith from that run at Moonee Valley in the Debonair. That was first up. Through the spring, he ran very well first up also at Moonee Valley, and his form subsequently was useful without being spectacular. Doubt he could win.
Eclair Passion's been the horse who's chased Harada, well, not chased, been alongside Harada Sun at some stage in the Zetative and the Wellington, but not at the finish. In fact, meets Harada Sun worse for getting beaten in the Wellington Stakes.
Yes, he's probably again condemned to running a place in the race. From 5, I think he'll probably land second or third in the run here behind the filly. That'll give him a chance to figure in the prize money distribution again.
Tully Storm comes off a protest win at Sandown midweek. The form's okay on that, but you're going to get $94. No surprise the big odds, but it wouldn't shock you if he got into the money.
No, he's my sneaky little exacta horse, Bruce. I've taken him in the exacta with Harada Sun. I thought that Sandown win was terrific. It was on protest. If he got clear at the top of the straight, I think he'd have won by a length and a half. He beat Let's Migrate. That's the San Juan form, the impressive Freedman horse who won during the week. Third was Feedback, who's run second to Efficient. Fourth was the Boom Queenslander, Daedalus. That form might be pretty good. Throw him in, Tully Storm.
8 is Ankh-Morpork, who resumes his preparation with the blinkers coming off. 1 of 2 for Peter Moody here. Ankh-Morpork, big odds, 50 to 1.
Yes, blinkers off. He's had a trial at Walpork and he trialled quite well. I don't know whether he's sharp enough for this first up at the 1400. In fact, I doubt it. But if they happen to really truck along in front, he'll be finding the line.
And another filly contest here in Amatola for Blake Shin. Big odds on the tote, nowhere near that here on course.
First up last time in, she ran on okay in a 1200 metre race. 1400 metres today is more suitable. Interesting, Bruce, this race last year, of course, we saw Apache Cat beat God's Own. It was a cracking Schweppes Cup last year. Empress Lily, who's probably in a similar category to Amatola, ran on first up to run third last year. So she's in a similar vein to Empress Lily. Okay,
Mounting Yard on TV, and as always brought to us by Coolmore Australia, the home of champions, as we look at Amatola. Now we look at Steve Moran's tips, and no surprise you've gone with the 5.
No, Bruce, certainly not. I think he's the real deal, Harada-san. He looks reasonably relaxed here this afternoon to me. This is certainly a better race than he's contested first up and second up this time in. The presence of Efficient. You've got some fit, in-form horses opposed to him, but I think he'll continue on his winning way. I thought perhaps the value runners for Quinellas and Trifectas were the 6 and the 7, Eclair Passion and Tully Storm.
Well, there he is, Nasrullah rides as he always does. Harada-san, of course, the colours made famous by Elstrom and Circles of Gold, the mother of both Harada-san, and he is a raging hot favourite here and has been backed, and he's a hot favourite too for the Cadbury Guineas coming up on the Super Saturday here on March the 10th. He just walks past us now with Battling Brian leading him round.
Yeah. In the Schweppes gear?
Yeah, I don't think he's had too much Schweppes Battling Brian, but he might have put it in something else.
Well, we talked about Michael Rodd's boutique mounts this afternoon. The same applies to Nash, of course. This is his first journey this afternoon aboard Harada-san. He'll ride Casual Pass in the St George, one of his favourite shadoways in the Oakley Plate, and Lucky Unicorn, of course, in the Carline Cup. So I think Nash would be disappointed if he didn't go home with at least 2.
It's starting to be a little bit warm, this horse. Sweating a touch behind Harada-san. Not normally his caper here. He's such a relaxed animal, and he's handling the day all right, but just getting a little bit warm, which surprises me a bit.
Well, you touched on something earlier too, Bruce, with Efficient, and having a good look at him, I don't think there's too many kilos to be shed from Efficient at this stage of his preparation.
He looks in the right nick, doesn't he? There's Harada-san going into the track. Tony Vassell is the trainer of Harada-san, and he's going to have a chat with Steve Moran as he goes to post at $1.20 on Super Tab, $1.40 with the bookies, and here's Tony.
And Tony Vassell's going to join us now, and we appreciate that. Afternoon, Tone.
G'day, Steve. How you going?
Very well. You at peace with the world?
Pretty much so.
Happy with the horse? I just thought maybe 10% more on toe than perhaps last time.
No, not really. No, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. A little better race today. Appearance of the Derby winner. Some hard, fit, in-form horses opposed to him. Probably can't be ridden perhaps quite as arrogantly as the last couple of times.
Well, I suppose the absence of that week we didn't run, and the Debonair produced some form, and with Wordsmith in this, and it's clearly Efficient's the other quality horse in the race, but with the exception of Catechuchu, there doesn't appear to be a lot of speed in this race, so he just may land in a more forward position than what he did last start, where you pretty much knew there was good speed on. So, yeah, I think you'll probably find him a bit more closer today.
In a sense, would you like to see that happen, just for the to see him as a bit more of an all-round racehorse, that he could take up a position and then produce that turn of foot from racing handy?
I wish there was 16 runners in genuine speed, actually, because every time he goes to the races, it's a tactical affair where you know that small fields and lack of speed, or sometimes the other way around, can dominate your thinking in the way you're riding. But that's Nash's job now.
Have you been, this time in, just able to bring him along gradually?
Yeah, I mean, his ultimate goal, this prep, is the Australian Guineas, and with the series of races being held at Caufield being what they are, he's gone 1200, 1400, and here again today 1400. It fits into his program ideally. It may have been thought upon as being taken the soft option, but so what?
And earns nice money. Everything's gone to plan the last 48 hours, 72 hours?
We worry about the next 5 minutes, mate.
Everything's okay up until now, though. We need to know that.
He looks pretty good to me.
He looks pretty good to me. He looked pretty good in my colours, I think. Lucky Unicorn today, another horse you've got in cracking form, and probably the best race, well, certainly the best race he's contested here.
No doubt, but his form justifies having a crack at a higher standard of race. He won the Chester Manifold Stakes at Sandown, and won that with good authority and was given a perfect ride by Diola. And then he stepped out over a mile at his first try at the distance there, and a very different ride, but just as good, I thought, and he saluted there. But that was 3 weeks ago. I've had to sort of try and back off him a touch and just freshen him again for the 1400, which he's in today, and then hopefully in 2 weeks' time he'll line up in the Blamey.
You'd be disappointed if he wasn't highly competitive today, despite the rising grade?
Yeah, I think his work on Tuesday was very pleasing, and I suppose I have a great respect for Apache Cat. He's a very good horse, but this horse is only lightly raced on the up, and he's in form, so yeah, he'll run pretty good.
Tony, did you have a good look at Miss Finland in the previous?
Yeah, I had a look at her.
You noticed her?
Yeah, I saw her out there. Yeah. Yeah.
How would you feel about the Australian Guineas, Miss Finland versus Harada Sun?
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Terrific. Thanks, Tone.
Thank you.
Tony Vassell joining us there, trainer of Harada Sun. And Bruce got out to around $1.45 on track, and a couple of punters, a couple of Tony's mates. I think Tony said, look, if they get to $1.45, you better have something on.
Well, what's happened too, Steve, is that they've got out to $6 with Efficient, and a couple of probably your mates have said that'll do us as well. So it's firmed as well. So the two big guns, Harada Sun and Efficient, both have Payne Brad Pengelly, 290 Osbred King, 160 How Brave, 32.90 the Q, 42.40 the E, 225.30 the T. Breeding Viva Caro by Danehill Dancer, Masterclass, Osbred King, and Chief Bearheart, How Brave, brought to you by Arrowfield Stud. And of course, we look at some magnificent horse flesh on show here. Efficient being a gelding, and Harada Sun being a mighty colt. And if you and I tried to buy him, Steve, well, we wouldn't even think about it, because I think they started at about 10 million, up to 15. If he can win a Group 1, it could be to 20.
Well, Bruce, could this be shades of last year? Apache Cat, God's Own. We had a titanic battle this year. Efficient, Harada Sun. Fantastic Schweppes Cup looming.
Well, as Tony Vassell said, bring it on, Brian.
Coming into line. Here comes Efficient. He doesn't carry a lot of condition, Efficient. He's back from the Derby after a wonderful win in the Derby. That was as good a win as you'd find anywhere with Michael Rod on that occasion. But he's a lean type of horse, Efficient, so he's not a lot of nick on him. He's heading for the Cadbury Guineas. Harada Sun, he's a striking looking colt. Just a little bit hot between the back legs. He's got tapes on the back bumpers. He's $1.30 at the moment. And Efficient gets from $6.50 into $5.80. On the tote in the last 5 minutes. $6.50 into $5.50 now for Efficient number 1. So the boys are coming out to play this time. We saw the filly, and she made a mess of them in the previous. She was terrific in the last 200 metres as she powered away Miss Finland to win by 3 3/4 lengths. Ankmore Pork and Tully Storm, almost a brawl in the mounting yard. Ankmore Pork lashed out, just missed Tully Storm. He lashed back. Went within an inch of connecting the two of them. The parade, General Albert's got the bar plates on, goes into line. Tully Storm to come forward, got the race on protest at Sandown, up in grade today. Wordsmith is an underrated horse, he goes in. Amatola to come forward. Catechuchu may be pushing forward here. So the filly Miss Finland is one of the 1600 in the previous in the fillies heat. And now the males here, the Derby winner and the rising star, well, he is a star, Harada Sun over the 1400. They're locked away and ready to go. Line is good. Racing this time. Amatola walked out of the gates, and Catechuchu and a Clear Passion bounced quickly with Tully Storm. Just off them, Wordsmith on the outside, inclined to push forward now. Then General Albert further back, Harada Sun, Efficient. Ankmore Pork in the centre and 2 to Amatola. Tully Storm over the top of the hill, took it up from Catechuchu. Wordsmith went back third, to a Clear Passion, to General Albert. Then came the inside, would have been Efficient. Harada Sun, he's back to third last. He's out 3 deep at the moment. Amatola's inside him, and in the centre is Ankmore Pork. So he's having a tough run, Harada Sun. He's out a little wide up the side. Tully Storm took it up. A length and a half to Catechuchu, out to the outside. 2.5 to Wordsmith, 2 to a Clear Passion. Nice and handy as Efficient. And then Harada Sun still 3 deep, but they're bunching now. Further back, General Albert, Ankmore Pork and Amatola the inside. 600 out. Tully Storm from on the outside, Catechuchu. They haven't gone hard. A length further back, Wordsmith. Then Efficient, who saved ground. A Clear Passion in the middle. Harada Sun, Nash just peeked to look over his shoulder. Then Amatola, General Albert, and last of all on the outside, Ankmore Pork. They turn for home. A sprint home now. Catechuchu going to Tully Storm. Efficient trying to get out, locked up on the fence. Harada Sun 4 lengths off them, given a crack with a whip, but he's really starting to extend down the outside. Halfway up the running, Catechuchu 2 in front. Harada Sun, I don't think can get there. Catechuchu in front. Harada Sun late, but he won't make it. Catechuchu, the filly, has pinched the race. Catechuchu, 3/4 Harada Sun. A length and a half, third a Clear Passion. Efficient fourth. Then came Amatola, followed by Wordsmith. A gap then to General Albert, followed by Tully Storm, Ankmore Pork, and a boil over. The filly beats the boys.
As she does, Brian, and gives David Hayes the 2 3-year-olds. Catechuchu, well ridden by Craig Williams. Harada Sun faced a tough task, couldn't handle it today. A Clear Passion, good again. But today, a race this was dawdling run mid-tempo there, Steve. It didn't make it any easier for Harada Sun.
Certainly didn't. I think Nash probably should have been a bit more aggressive early and hustled forward. Catechuchu had the perfect trail behind the leader, Tully Storm. We see her kick there in the green cap. Efficient's back behind them in the blue and white, and Harada Sun coming to the outside left of picture.
Didn't like one to lay in a bit here, Steve, and Nash has pulled whip through to left hand, straightens up. Yeah, I'll have to watch it again, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, he's covered plenty of ground. He's probably covered 5 or 6 lengths more than, say, for argument's sake, Efficient, with Michael Rodd hugging the rails all the way. And he'll take improvement from that. Efficient, I think he certainly wants more ground. 124.7, it's a very slow overall time. Interesting to compare it to Sea Change earlier in the day, who ran 123.1, so 1.6 seconds slower. As we have a look at this filly, Catechuchu, on screen. She ran second to Universal Queen in the Vanity at her first run back from Perth, and good performance with the run of the race here this afternoon. Sectionals might tell us a further story, and we'll see what they've run home here in just a moment. The winner, Catechuchu, is going to return around $12.80. In fact, did trim up in the last couple of minutes on the tote. Was easy on track, eased 3 points, $12.80 the win dividend on the tote here this afternoon for Catechuchu. The filly upsetting the Colts, and into third place, of course, was A Clear Passion.
Definitely was.
The Derby winner has run fourth. And Bruce might be able to track down David Hayes for us.
She worked brilliantly going into it. So, but you know, she had to go up a notch from a Perth form, and she did today. She beat 2 very, very good horses.
So where to now for her?
She'll probably run in the Cooney. She'll be nominated in the Guineas and the Cooney, but I'd say the filly's option. She's a notch below Miss Finland, so we'd probably keep her away from her.
Well, I'd say it's looming as another big day for the Hayes-Williams combination, isn't it?
I hope so. It normally rains. It pours when it rains.
All right, well, one fella right in the middle of it, of course, is Greg Williams.
That was David Hayes, of course. As we watch Craig Williams, a very happy man, returns to scale on this winner, Catechuchu, and terrific book of rides, of course, coming up for Craig too, with Gallant Guru for the arch rival, Lee Friedman, coming up in the St George. Ciccone, of course, for David Hayes in the Blue Diamond, Spielmeister and Astrodome close the book for Craig Williams. Let's have a look at the totes. The winner, $12.80, $1.90, Harada Sun, $1.04, A-Care Passion, $2.70, Quinella, $5.70, Exacta, $27.30, and the trifecta, $124 on 4, 3 and 6 will bring the first 4 to you. Running double there, 1 into 4, $38.70, and the first 4, 4, 3, 6 and 1. Efficient running fourth, $437.40, $437.40. Sectional times, last 846.7. The last 600 might be a little more telling. 33.9, so that probably tells the story of the race. The winner's been able to run home in 33.9, and Harada Sun's probably given her several lengths start at the top of the straight. We'll see that vision again later on, but home in 33.9. He was going to face a task, having tracked wide, to pick them up. So that's the Schweppervessens Cup, the win to the filly, Catechuchu. Numbers here 4, 3, 6 and 1, 4, 3, 6 and 1 on the Schweppes Cup. Next race here from Caufield at 2:40 is the Carlton Draft St George Stakes, featuring the clash of Marasco, King of Ashford, Aqua d'Amore and Pompey Ruler, of course. Craig Williams gesturing 2, that's 2 down. Miss Finland, Catechuchu, as he comes back to scale. And Keith Hillier, of course, will have a word with Craig in just a moment. Still, it'll be interesting to see how Tony Vassell and Nash Rawiller review that performance. They probably felt that he could be ridden the way he was and still be too good. It's not the way it turned out, but the sectional times do tell a story of the race. Slow overall time, 33.9 the last 600. And so they've gone very slowly, around 50 seconds or worse for the first 800, which is crawling for horses at this level. 4.36 here to the Schweppes Cup. Craig Williams 2 down. Miss Finland, of course, having won the Angus Armand Ascot. And as we mentioned, he teams up with the arch enemy, Lee Freedman, in the next race, the St George, riding Gallant Guru for Lee Freedman in the St George Stakes, which is scheduled for 2:40. Racing, of course, coming up from Sydney and Brisbane. And Craig will make his way through the throng there with Des Gleeson. And Keith Hilly will have a word with Craig in just a moment.
Thanks, Steve. And Craig Williams, for the second time in as many races, stepping onto the winning riders scale. Success on Catechuchu in the Schweppes Cup. Well, the previous one was easy. This one a little unexpected, I would imagine, against the Colts, Craig.
Yeah, look, number 1 and number 3, which is efficient, and Harada is the two probably best colts there is, and definitely Victoria, maybe Australia. And our filly's not a Miss Finland, but we were really happy with her work during the week. And when the barrier draws came out and the field came out, we were very comfortable that she'll get a great run from that. And if they left her alone and gave her a head start on the set weights and penalties of the race today, I was really confident that she'll give them a real run for their money, and you saw that today.
Were you surprised by the dawdling pace, both Bruce and Steve pointing out the slow sectionals?
No, not at all. I even cantering the start.